The Wizards are just bad. All right, and but Bradley Beal is a good player, 3-time All-Star. He's out this season. I mean, he's played half the year. He's out for the rest of the year. He had a wrist, I believe it was wrist, with a hand injury and surgery. But he is in line for a big payday, Rob. And he's had one. Rob G. He's had at least one. I think probably two.
No, I think he had one. Definitely.
Max payment. He's definitely had one. But he's probably had two. Rob G. Look it up real quick. 2 max paydays already. At least one, though. And here's what Bill said today about re-signing with the Wizards. He said he's in no rush to make a decision, but he did say that he's leaning toward the Wizards. And he said it's fair to say that. But he admitted, he said, look, they asked him what will go into your decision. It's hard to believe this, but he said it. Obviously winning. Really? Having a winning environment, a group of guys that are committed to winning, buying into what coach wants, buying into what the organization needs. Obviously, I play a factor into that too. Good for him for taking ownership.
Right.
I have
not
to be
everybody
better.
else. Right.
Right. I have to be better.
Else.
But being around the group of guys who want to win and who will buy into what we need to do, that's important. All right, Rob, I'm going to say this, and you might jump on me. First of all, apparently Bradley Beal's happy in D.C. Maybe, family situation there is great, and he likes it, which is great. That is important, man. I have no issues with a dude being happy and turning down maybe a better opportunity elsewhere because he's happy where he's at, okay? But when it comes to sports, winning is a big factor in it. And in other parts of life, you compete to a certain degree. You want to win, but that's not all it's about. Having the best, being at the best newspaper, being at the best electrical company or engineering firm or what. Like, sometimes you're just content where you are. You're making good money and you're happy. And it's not about, people aren't having talk shows about, did you win? Is your firm the best? And it's no legacy with that and all that stuff. That's why sports is different. And I got to be honest, Rob, outside of him being happy, which is great, that's his personal decision. I'm talking about strictly basketball. This is a little like, do you want to win? Like, do you want to? Bradley Beal is not a number one superstar on a championship team. That's been proven. Just looking at him, his game isn't that. But you can, obviously, he's been the number one guy for the last few years, and they barely make the playoffs. All right, if they do make it. And he could be, though, a great number 3. He could be like a great third guy in a big 3 somewhere. And if I was Bradley Beal, I just think from a basketball standpoint, this is disappointing. He should be looking at, you know what? Because his legacy, Rob, Bradley Beal, and maybe he'll hear this. This, Rob, could be the difference between him possibly. He hasn't been what you look at now and say a Hall of Fame player. But if he were to go somewhere and win a championship and be a third guy, a 20-point scorer, maybe fights for that second guy role, he's still going to get max money or close to what he can make a little more in Washington. And it would actually boost whatever slim Hall of Fame chances he may have. And so we're talking a lot about legacy. Rob, you remember Kevin Garnett? And granted, Garnett was on a whole different level than Bradley Beal. We understand that. He was a Hall of Famer in Minnesota. But Rob, he didn't want to go to Boston. You know that. He was reluctant. They had to essentially beg him to accept that trade. He finally goes to Boston, wins a championship, and it changed. I mean, the way we think about KG is different. He was going to be a Hall of Famer, but he admitted it was the best move of his life, and it just changed his whole legacy. And that's what could be at stake. He's not KG, but I'm just saying, for a Bradley Beal. Chris Bosh, Rob, for all the fact that his numbers went down in Miami, his legacy went up in Miami because he was a part of an historic big three, and that's that. So I think that's what it got Bosh in the Hall of Fame. I think that's what Bradley Beal has to think about before re-signing with a team that just bottom line ain't going to be that good.
Yeah, I disagree. Let me give you Beal's financials. He signed a 1-year max, Chris. One max.
So he's got one max deal? Okay.
In 2016, 5 years, $127 million. Then he had a 2-year extension in 2019, 2 years, $70 million. Worth max money, but not max years. So that's where he is. But I disagree. And I disagree from the standpoint that everybody wants people in this new NBA to move on and go somewhere else and team up with other people. And I know he's not Giannis. So I want to stop in your tracks. I'm not saying he's Giannis. But Giannis was criticized and crucified.
He ain't Giannis.
I said he ain't Giannis. Was crucified. You're dumb. You're stupid. Why would you stay in Milwaukee? There's nothing there but beers and crotts.
And brat.
Brats. I'm sorry. What?
Crotts.
Brats. I meant brats. Beer and brats. And they said, all those NBA fans, you'll never win in Milwaukee. You'll never win, Giannis. What are you doing? Go to Miami. They just swept you in the playoffs, and they went to the finals. If you go to Miami, you'll win a championship. He didn't listen to anybody. Him and Hall, when the contract came around, he cut his finger, put an X on it. He says, I'm here. I'm staying in Milwaukee. And guess what Giannis did? He won a chip. He won a championship. He won the trophy. And Chris, maybe Bradley Beal wants to do his own thing. He don't want to be a third wheel. He want to be the big kahuna. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be the grand poobah of Washington, D.C. He don't want to be no third wheel. You just said he has to fall behind two other guys to get a championship that he'll get no credit for.
He would get credit.
No, he won't. It'll go to the other guys.
Bosh didn't get credit.
He didn't
Bosh
get as
is a
much
Hall
credit.
of Famer. 2-time.
He didn't get as much credit.
Because he wasn't as good as LeBron and Wade.
All right, well, that's what I'm saying. So that's what you want Bradley Beal to be. Do not downgrade yourself. If you're the man, be the man. You want to be able to make miracles and move mountains. What if Bradley Beal,
what mountains
they get
are
a player?
Moving?
They might in the East. They might move the mountain.
Yeah, right.
If Bradley Beal, Chris, put together somehow they drafted a big time star out of nowhere.
Oh, here we go.
Some free agent signed.
And Zion decides to go there and is healthy.
And then boom, he wins a title. You'll be the one that'll have to take this all back. I want us to mark this down. Why can't he stay in D.C.?
Because they aren't that any good.
You said that about Giannis in Milwaukee.
No,
Can we play the tape?
No, I didn't.
You said that he wouldn't win there, Chris.
First of all, he's not, as you admit, he's not close to as good as Giannis.
Did you say that Giannis was going to win in Milwaukee, yes or no?
I didn't make a statement.
Yes, you did. You
no,
said
I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I really did. In my heart of hearts, I remember feeling like this dude ain't going to win a championship. But I never came out publicly and said it. But the difference is this, Rob. Milwaukee was at least a contender. Washington hadn't had a winning record in the last 4 years. Where are they going? You want to be the big fish in a small pond that doesn't even make the playoffs?
2 years ago. What are you talking about?
They went to the playoffs last year. They didn't have a winning record. That's how bad it was.
It was the playoffs,
They were 34
Chris.
and 38.
If you get in, you get in. They were
and
in
that
the
was
playoffs.
the one time in the last 4 years or 3 years, we'll see if they make it this year, last 3 years that they made the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, Beal, and again, personal life, if he's happy, more power to him. But you're going to get paid. You won't get quite as much if you go elsewhere. You'll still get generational money, life-changing money. You already have that. Rob, I'm telling you, if he went, and it's not like he's even Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard consistently would lead the Blazers to the playoffs and a few times deep in the playoffs. And I get, even though I think they're going to end up parting ways, but I get Damian Lillard saying, this is my team. We're competitive. We're around, the other big teams. We're not beating them, but we're in the hunt. And I like being the man. But Washington can't even say that. They're rarely in the hunt. They're never in the hunt. So I'm just saying he could go somewhere else. And look, I will admit this, not a lot of teams have money. Not a lot of good teams. I think maybe teams would make some moves for him, though. Obviously, you could do a sign and trade, too. So I just think, Rob, I just think that, a little disappointing. I'd like to see him go somewhere and really help a team, win something big. But all right.